Opening, the whisper that started everything. Close your eyes for a moment, not because the world around you is too loud, though maybe it is, but because there is something I need you to hear, something that has been waiting for you, something that has always been true, even when you forgot it, even when life convinced you otherwise, even when the silence felt too heavy and the questions felt too many. You are loved, not in a general, catch-all, blanket kind of way, not in the way a stranger nods at you from across the street, not in the way a motivational poster tacked to a waiting room wall tries to remind you that you matter. No, you are loved specifically, intentionally, deeply, completely. You are loved the most. I know that might feel like a stretch. I know that word, most, might trip something up inside of you, because most implies comparison. Most implies that out of everything and everyone, something has been weighed, considered, and chosen. And most of us have been taught one way or another that we are not the ones who get chosen first, that there is always someone more deserving, someone more put together, someone who has done less wrong, said less wrong, been less wrong. But here is what I want you to sit with today for the next hour as you breathe and listen and let your guard come down just a little. The love of God does not work the way human love works. It does not run out. It does not rank. It does not hold grudges or keep score. It does not love you more on the days you have it together and less on the days you fall apart. It loves you, always, completely, without condition, as if you are the only one. And in a mystery too wide for our human minds to fully hold, that is exactly how it works. You are the only one, and so is everyone else. But today, right now, we are talking about you. So let's begin there. Let's begin with you. Part 1, before you knew your own name. There was a moment before you arrived, before your first breath, before the room filled with the sound of your cry, before anyone had yet to count your fingers or marvel at the shape of your face. There was a knowing. You were known, not because you had proven yourself, not because you had done anything, not because of potential or purpose or what you might one day accomplish. You were known simply because you existed, because the breath of life was already yours, because something, someone, had already decided that the world would be better with you in it. Think about that for a moment. You did not earn your place here. You did not apply for the right to exist. You did not wake up one morning and submit a case for why your life should have value. You simply arrived, and that arrival was not an accident. It was not a coincidence. It was not random. It was intentional, and with that intention came love, a love that preceded everything, a love that did not begin when you were good enough, or brave enough, or healed enough, a love that began before time wrapped itself around your story. Some of us grew up being told we were a mistake, that our arrival was inconvenient, that we were too much, or not enough, or simply in the way. And those words, wherever they came from, whoever spoke them, left marks. They settled into the soft parts of us and built walls. They made love feel conditional, earned, temporary. But I want you to hear this gently, and I want you to hear it clearly. What humans said about you does not determine what is true about you. You were loved before any of them had a chance to weigh in. You were chosen before any of them could approve or disapprove. The verdict on your worth was already in. And it was good. It has always been good. This is not wishful thinking. This is not a pep talk designed to make you feel temporarily better. This is the foundational truth underneath everything else. You were loved first, before the world got its hands on you, before the criticism, before the comparison, before the disappointment, before the shame. Before all of it, there was love. And that love has never stopped. Part 2, the love that finds you in the dark. Let's talk about the hard seasons. Because if you have lived any amount of time on this earth, you know what it feels like when the light seems to go out. When you wake up and the weight of what you are carrying feels heavier than your body can hold. When you go through the motions, because stopping would mean feeling everything you have been trying not to feel. You know what it is like to smile when you do not mean it, to answer fine when you are not fine, to carry something in silence because you are not sure anyone would understand or stay if you actually let them see it. Those seasons are real, they are painful, and they matter. But here is what I want to tell you about those seasons. God does not leave when things get dark. God does not pull back when you are at your lowest. God does not scroll past your pain the way a timeline scrolls past yesterday's news. The love that holds you. It goes into the dark with you. It sits with you in the middle of the night when your thoughts are too loud. It stays with you in the hospital waiting room. It is present in the grief that does not have a name yet, in the loss that people keep telling you to get over, in the loneliness that can exist even in a room full of people. There is no version of your life that this love cannot reach. I think sometimes we confuse hard seasons with being abandoned. We look at our circumstances and we interpret them as evidence that maybe we are not as loved as we thought. Maybe if things were going better, we would feel it more clearly. Maybe the silence of heaven means something is wrong with us. But silence is not absence. And difficulty is not punishment. Some of the most profound encounters with love happen in the places we least expect it. In the wreckage, in the waiting, in the stripped down, no pretense, everything is on the table moments when we are finally too tired to perform. That is often when love gets the clearest. Not because the hard season was engineered to break you, but because in those moments, when everything we use to fill ourselves up has been removed, we discover what was always underneath. Something steady, something constant, something that was there long before the trouble started and will be there long after it passes. You are not loved less because life is hard right now. You are loved completely, right in the middle of it. Part 3. The love that knows your worst and stays. This might be the hardest part to receive, because most of us can accept love when we are doing well, when we are being kind, when we are showing up, when we are the version of ourselves we actually like. It is easy to believe you are lovable when you are proud of who you are being. But what about the rest? What about the version of you that said the thing you cannot take back? The version that chose wrong, again. The version that let someone down, that quit, that hid, that lied. Even if the lie was only to yourself, what about the parts you have never told anyone? The thoughts you push away, the habits you are ashamed of, the pattern you keep repeating even though you know better, the way you sometimes treat yourself that you would never allow someone to treat a person you love. What does love do with all of that? It stays. That is the part that is almost impossible to hold. The love of God is not a love that tolerates you despite your worst. It is not a love that pinches its nose and waits for you to get better before it fully commits. It is not a love that keeps a running tab of every failure, waiting for the moment you finally mess up too many times. It is a love that sees all of it, every corner, every shadow, everything you wish were different about yourself. And it does not flinch. It does not flinch. That word, stays, is doing a lot of work here, and I want you to feel the weight of it. Because staying is not the same as not caring. Staying is not the same as overlooking. Staying means I see you fully, and I'm still here. Staying means my presence with you is not contingent on your performance. There is a difference between a love that tolerates your mess and a love that transforms you through the experience of being fully known and fully accepted at the same time. That second kind of love, the kind that knows your worst and stays, that is the kind of love that actually changes people. Not because it demands change as the price of acceptance, but because something happens in a person when they finally believe they are safe, when they finally believe the love is real and it is not going anywhere. They begin to breathe differently. They begin to stand up straighter. They begin to make different choices, not out of fear, but out of something that feels more like response, like gratitude, like I want to become more of who I actually am, because I finally believe I'm worth becoming. That is what this love does. It does not shame you into transformation. It loves you into it. Part 4, you specifically. I want to slow down here. I want to talk about you. Not the general you, not the theological you, not the abstract concept of humanity being loved. I want to talk about the particular person who is listening to this right now. Your voice, your laugh, the way your mind works, the specific shape of the dreams you carry, the fears that wake you up at 3 a.m, the things that make you cry at unexpected moments, the way you love the people you love, the particular combination of gifts and wounds and quirks and longings that makes you, you. All of that is known. All of that is loved, not as a category, not as a data point in some larger equation. You, the specific, unrepeatable, one-of-a-kind person that you are loved, individually, completely. There has never been another you. There will never be another you. The exact arrangement of who you are, your history, your temperament, your way of seeing the world, it exists once, just once. And it is not an accident that it exists at all. I think we often make the mistake of believing that love on a cosmic scale must be somehow thin, that if something loves everything, it must love each thing a little less, that the bigger the love, the more diluted it becomes. But that is a very human way of thinking about a very unhuman kind of love. Think about what it means to love a child. A parent does not love their child less because they also love their sibling. The love does not get divided. It multiplies. It deepens. It finds room. Now imagine a love so vast that it not only finds room, it was already there, already full, already complete. Before you arrived, the love was not diminished by your absence. And when you arrived, it did not scramble to make space. There was always space. There has always been space. For you, specifically, your name, whatever it is known, not metaphorically, not as a poetic way of saying that God knows a lot of people. Known, like the way you know the name of someone who changed your life, like the way a name sounds different when it is spoken by someone who means it. Your name is spoken with meaning. Your existence is not a footnote. It is not a side note. It is not background noise in someone else's story. You are the main character of a story that the love of God is deeply, specifically, irreversibly invested in. Part 5. When you forget. There will be days when you forget all of this. There will be mornings when you wake up and the love feels very far away, when the circumstances of your life are so loud that the quieter truth gets drowned out, when the voices, internal or external, are so persistent that you start to believe them again. You will forget, and then you will remember, and then you will forget again. That is not failure, that is being human. The love of God does not penalize you for the forgetting. It does not keep a ledger of how many times you had to come back around to believing it. It does not love you more on the days you feel it clearly and love you less on the days it all feels abstract. It loves you consistently through all of it. The forgetting is part of the journey. And the remembering, those moments when something cuts through the noise and you feel it again, even briefly, even just for a moment. Those moments are gifts. They are not rewards for the days you did everything right. They are grace, freely given, always available. There is something important in the idea that love is not something you have to maintain, that you do not have to wake up every morning and perform enough goodness to keep it in place. That on the days you cannot muster belief, the love is not waiting for you to pull yourself together before it resumes. It is there in the middle of the doubt. It is there when you are angry. It is there when you are numb. It is there when you are disappointed, even when the disappointment is with God. Love big enough to be real is love big enough to hold all of that. And the love we are talking about today is the biggest kind there is. So, when you forget, and you will, let the forgetting be gentle on you. Let the path back to remembering be easy. You do not have to earn your way back. You do not have to apologize your way back. You do not have to explain yourself or make a case. You simply return, and you are met, not with impatience or disappointment, but with the same thing that was always there. Love, just love. Part 6. The love that calls you forward. Here is something that might surprise you. This love, the love that accepts you exactly as you are with no conditions attached, no prerequisites, no performance required. This love also believes in who you are becoming. Those two things are not in conflict. Being loved as you are does not mean staying where you are. Being accepted fully does not mean that growth is optional. In fact, the opposite is true. The safest soil for growth is not the soil of expectation and pressure and shame. It is the soil of love. When you genuinely believe that you are loved, not hypothetically, not if you improve, not someday when you get it together, but now, here, as you are, something shifts. You begin to want more for yourself, not because you are afraid of falling short, but because you have been given a glimpse of what you are capable of, and you want to move toward it. This love calls you forward. It sees the version of you that is still becoming, the gifts that have not fully opened yet, the courage that is still finding its shape, the healing that is underway, even on the days it does not feel like it, the version of you that will look back on this season and understand, finally, what it was for. And it calls to that version of you, not with a list of demands, not with a deadline, but with something more like an invitation. Come further in, come deeper. Come toward the life that is waiting for you on the other side of the fear, the other side of the wound, the other side of the story you have been telling yourself about your own limitations. You are not your past. You are not your worst moment. You are not the sum total of everything that went wrong or everything you wish you had done differently. You are a person in motion, a person being shaped, a person who is loved so deeply that the love itself is part of what is doing the shaping. And that shaping, however long it takes, however many detours it includes, is purposeful. You are going somewhere, not because you have figured everything out, not because you have earned the destination, but because the love that holds you is not a love that leaves things unfinished. It started something when it called you into being. It will complete it. Part 7, Receiving It. This might be the most practical part of everything we have talked about today. Because it is one thing to be loved, it is another thing entirely to receive love. Some of us have been loved for a very long time by people who genuinely meant it, and we still struggled to take it in. We deflected the compliment. We minimized the kind word. We accepted the help while secretly feeling like a burden. We let people love us with one part of ourselves while keeping another part safely behind glass. We were never taught how to receive. And in some ways, that makes a certain kind of sense. Life has a way of teaching us to be guarded, to not need too much, to not want too much, to not expect too much, because expectations are where disappointment lives. But the love we are talking about today, this love is not going to disappoint you in the way human love sometimes does. It is not going to get tired. It is not going to change its mind. It is not going to love you well for a season and then quietly pull back. It is safe to receive. And receiving it looks different for different people. For some of us, it starts with something as simple as allowing yourself to sit in quiet for a few minutes each day, not performing, not producing, not proving anything, just being. Just being in the presence of a love that does not need you to do anything to earn its attention. For some of us, it means changing the language we use about ourselves, not in a forced affirmation poster kind of way, but in the small, quiet moments. Noticing when the inner voice is unkind and gently asking, is that actually true? Is that actually how I am seen? For some of us, receiving this love means letting someone help us, letting someone in, letting the walls come down in one small place and trusting that what meets us there is not judgment. For some of us, it is learning to rest, to stop earning our right to take up space, to stop running on the fuel of constant productivity and let ourselves simply be, full, unhurried, enough. Receiving love is a practice. It takes time. It takes courage, actually, more courage than most of us give it credit for, because being loved requires being seen. And being seen feels vulnerable, but you are worth the vulnerability. You are worth the risk of letting it in. And the love on the other side of that risk is not a small thing. It is not a consolation prize. It is the real thing, the deepest, truest, most enduring thing available to a human heart. Let it in. Closing. You are the one. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have talked about the love that existed before you were born, the love that goes into the dark with you, the love that knows your worst and stays, the love that calls you forward, the love that is safe to receive. And I want to bring it all back around to where we started. You are loved the most. I know the word most is still sitting there, maybe still a little uncomfortable, maybe still prompting the question, more than who? More than what? Surely not more than someone who deserves it more than I do. But here is the thing about this kind of love. It is not a competition. It is not a ranking. It does not produce winners and losers. It is a love so complete, so whole, so without limit, that every single person who is held by it can accurately say, I am the one. You are the one, not because everyone else is less, but because this love has a way of making every person who encounters it feel as if they are the focus, the center, the one the love was always moving toward. Because in a way that defies logic and refuses to be contained by our small categories, that is exactly true. The love of God has always been moving toward you, through every season you have lived, through every door that closed, through every unexpected beginning, through the places that broke your heart and the places that put it back together, through the people who showed up and the people who did not, through the prayers that felt answered and the ones that felt like silence. Through all of it, the love has been present, moving, working, reaching toward you. Not because you finally did enough to deserve it. Not because you finally believed perfectly enough to earn it, but because that is what this love does. It reaches. It stays. It goes deep. It holds on. And on the days when you feel it, let yourself feel it fully. Do not shrink from it or explain it away or tell yourself it is probably not as real as it feels. It is real. It is the realest thing there is, and it is yours. Today, tomorrow, in every season you will ever walk through, this love is yours. You are held, you are known, you are seen, you are cherished. You are loved, completely, specifically, without condition, by a love that has no end. You are loved the most. Go carry that with you. You were made to be loved like this, and you were made to live like someone who knows it.